Another video. Did pretty well. Even had a couple of hour-long conversations on Skype and didn't have a cigarette. It's pretty good when you can talk and not have a cigarette. So yeah, I'm getting closer, I think, to a point where I won't have to do this everyday thing. I think maybe I'll just get to a point where I'll do a, put 10 cigarettes in a dish or whatever, and a day, and then go down to 9, and then 8, and then once I get to 5 or 6, that'll be the cutoff point, and then it'll be time to just quit. So, I mean, they're just, it's so tricky, it's, you're always playing with fire with each, it's like, each time you have a cigarette, it makes you want a cigarette again more, so that's part of the trap of the whole thing. But the longer you go without one, the more distracted you become by the need. So anyway, I'm responding to a video. It's a good video. I mean, really polite and articulate anyway. Don't know if I agree with everything, but yeah, I've also, played the games with the cigarettes. I've done this, create a contest or an obstacle to cigarette smoking, so I've been here before. I just chose this time because I was having a problem. I mean, I've been saying for over a month that I have to cut down because, like I said, I just didn't want to go cold turkey from 2 packs. I want to go cold turkey from, a half a pack or less. And yeah, I was finding it impossible to cut down, and I'd always been able to cut down when I had to. It was just this mechanism seemed to work. So, I guess I would have tried something else if it didn't. But anyway, just rambling. That's what I don't like. My brain is already not working very well, which irritates me. And there was a comment, and one of the comments was something like, oh, quitting, it's good for you, or some other bullshit. You'll feel better for it. No, I don't think any of that's going to happen. I'm only quitting because I have to. I'm only quitting because I can't afford to do anything else. And that's the part that really pisses me off. This isn't a choice I'm making. I'm not saying, yes, I want to quit smoking. Because, frankly, I'd just rather live with the liability of cigarettes. I made the mistake when I was a kid, and I'd rather just live with the mistake than have to change the mistake. Because it's uncomfortable and unpleasant and irritating, and I'm not gonna be a happy non-smoker. It's gonna bug me. I just know it. My father quit smoking 40 years ago, and he still, says now and then, it gets to him. But anyway, I just know my psychology has been so wrapped around these damn cigarettes for so long that I know it's going to haunt me. It's going to be a pain in my ass. Every time I don't feel good or things get hard, I'm going to want to reach for that damn cigarette. And it's going to be really irritating not to do it. Alright, enough complaining. So anyway, anarchy. So you have an interesting take on it, a personal kind of anarchy, and certainly I don't have any objection, just like I don't have an objection really to personal religion. I mean, if people want to be religious in their own living room, that's fine. It's really, my argument is with people who want to destroy the civilization we've built and replace it with some kind of anarchy. That's the problem. And I sort of like the way you approached it from an ideals point of view, that there's this ideal and the ideals aren't necessarily practical, and there's something we can personally live up to, or attempt to personally live up to, but it's not probably a social objective that's realistic. And that's sort of what I'm arguing for, is that I think we can build a government structure that satisfies some major constituent of everybody's need, the need of the people who want their freedom, and the need of the people who want infrastructure and want some sort of social defense and protections, and some sort of civilization, some sort of power within an organized non-profit government that is intended to provide public services, that everything can't be a capitalist industry, and that's really what government is supposed to be. What services it provides, it's supposed to be providing them efficiently. at least without exploiting people. See, that's always the other line here. I've said it before, but I mean, that's the dichotomy, is the capitalist system inevitably leads to exploitation and thievery by the wealthy, and the government gets corrupted by special interests who are essentially doing the same thing from the other end of the stick, where they want to get paid for doing nothing, and where they want to keep brokenness in the system. It's like the teachers union they don't want to be made obsolete like the rest of us. They don't want to have to compete in the real world of technology and the rest of it. They want to make sure that they redundantly keep performing their redundant tasks year after year, over and over, and have us pay them to do that, when we know technology could replace 80% of what they do, at least. So anyway, fixes to the system. Like I said, as long as you're agreeable that that it's not desirable to blow government up, then yeah, we're not really going to have an argument. I'm proposing fixing the system. I'm proposing imposing accountability, imposing a requirement to, shed itself of special interest corruptions, and imposing enough discipline in the form of a constitution, a well-enforced constitution, that at least forces there to be a fair fight, a fair argument about what compromises are going to be made between our ideals. Obviously, I disagree with a lot of people about what the ideal social circumstance is. Some people think there should be legacy wealth. I think it's an abomination. It insults the very core of any kind of rational value, any kind of fair fight. It's disgusting. It is the biggest failure in our social structure. I could live with a lot of capitalism if that one feature of it was abolished. If there was no part of this capitalism that lived forever. If there wasn't eternal copyrights and eternal wealth and the rest of it, then yeah, I could live with this dog-eat-dog competitive world, because at least it would always have to be nothing would be pulled out of the system. Everything would have to go back into the system, and the system wouldn't be losing energy, so to speak. It wouldn't be being parasitically sucked of its blood, which is happening now, because the more and more people that get connected to this wealth, then you have half the population doing the work to serve the whim of this non-working majority. Whoa, I just got really dizzy. Whew. Interesting. Kind of fucked up. I mean, way dizzy. Whoa. Alright, maybe I'll have to cut this short. Ooh, sorry, I probably made a noise. I wonder if my pulse rate's up or something. Pulse is really slow. That's not the problem. Oh, phone call anyway. Alright, so I'll take a break here, pause, or just, no worries. I hope.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know where I left off. Yeah, no, I haven't died or anything, but that was really spooky. I mean, sometimes you get a little bit, lightheaded when you're smoking a cigarette and you haven't had one for a while. But I never had that dizziness come out of nowhere like that. That was, like, fucked up. Maybe it was just a little spike in blood pressure or something, I don't know. But anyway, it's not a good sign. I really gotta, I haven't been exercising the way I used to. I haven't been doing a lot of things. You hit a certain age, and all of a sudden you say, it fucking doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, back to where I was, which I have no idea where I was, but I'm just saying, yeah, government's broken, and it can be fixed, and that's the bottom line. And as long as there's an anarchist who believes in fixing things, then that's okay with me. But, people who are suggesting we blow up the civilization we have, for some hope, not a plan, just for a hope of some sort of, oh yeah, well, we'll all have nuclear weapons can get along, or some other nonsense. I mean, even Luke uses this bogus argument that, well, look how nations get along. Look how they don't get along. Look how certain nations are trying to control other nations, and they're killing millions of people, and it's just, come on, get real. It's an ugly mess out there, and the only thing that keeps things right is a balance of power, but it's a precarious balance, and it's a balance that if you put it, if you apply it to individuals, there's going to be crazy individuals. And right now, if a nuclear power goes crazy or goes insane, we're all dead. It's that simple. And you just can't play with that fire and in the long term win. You will lose eventually. And that's really the role of government and organization and non-anarchy, is to create defense systems against catastrophe. That's its first priority, and its second one is to create something called fairness. And you're not going to have fairness in anarchy. It's just not going to happen.